Good day, everyone. I hope you are feeling good after last night's entertainment. It was excellent fun. Thank you for the organizers for arranging that yesterday. I have the honor of introducing the presentations from different areas around the globe. So this is where we really get to realize the global extension of global bioimaging and see the wonderful things that are going on in the different regions that global bioimaging covers and the different partners that global bioimaging has. So in this first session, we have 3 presentations. Unfortunately, the presentation from India will not be possible. So we have Canada, Europe, Eurobioimaging, and Japan in this first session. And that will be followed by a coffee break. Each presentation will be for 10 minutes, and there will be a chance for questions at the end, just before the coffee break. So, with great pleasure, I call the first of our presenters to the stage, please. That's Canada. Or there we go. Here comes Claire. And there were. Also, I'd like to point out that there will be, I think there are more presentations, but they will be available online. So this is, I think, just a selection of the presentations that will be available in the global section.
Hey, so good morning, and I look forward to this opportunity to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Canada Bioimaging. And I also wanted to thank Yara and the organizers for this really nice template they sent us to structure our presentations. It was really, really helpful, and the graphics are lovely. So I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Canada. So I'm the president of Canada Bioimaging, and it's in association with BioImaging North America. So we're part of BioImaging North America as well. And we're also part of the Canadian Network of Scientific Platforms. And that group is a larger group which focuses on all technology areas, so that it's not just bioimaging, but anybody running research infrastructure platforms. And by working with that broader community, all the way from engineering to health sciences, it gives us a bigger voice to the funders and the stakeholders when we're trying to affect change. So Canada Bioimaging is the technology node of CNSP, and we're also the official partner with Global Bioimaging. So I was reflecting a little bit on this time of year, coming to Uruguay in the winter, and I thought I would put up a photo here. This top photo was taken around this time of winter in Montreal, so a little colder and a little different. But this was actually a really beautiful day. The Mount Royal is right across from our building at McGill, and you may notice on the right side of the trail here, they have groomed cross-country trails that are around all winter, and then on the left side of the trail is for walking. And this was one of those late afternoons where the sun's kind of low in the sky, and you see these really long shadows from the trees. But just so you know, this time of year, the campus looks more like this, and it's the end of our summertime. So the objective we have right now with Canada Bioimaging is to build a comprehensive database of unique infrastructure and expertise. So right now there's no sort of national database of what types of instruments are available, what type of experience different platforms have. And so we've started collecting that information from facilities. So they may have a really unique instrument for the region, but they may also be really skilled at making image analysis pipelines. And so that expertise could be useful to others. And through that database, the idea is to then make more people aware of what equipment's available, and also help people to understand what equipment to apply for the next time they have funding. And we've decided the way to really build up this community is to focus on unique infrastructure, so we don't overwhelm ourselves at the beginning. So really just focusing on higher end instruments. And then also build user groups around that. And the idea here is to get the imaging scientists into user groups around the technology, so we can also help each other implement the technology in the best way and learn from each other. And if we have a common challenge, can we brainstorm how to fix that? So right now we're trying to secure funding for a full-time imaging scientist to make those connections, because we have the database, we have the user groups, but connecting researchers to the equipment they need is still a challenge. So we felt that this was most aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goal 9, which is to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. And the main points are that we reduce duplication, share expertise. It's, I think, pretty well known that instruments that are in facilities last longer, so they're better maintained, and issues are addressed quickly, so that extends the lifetime of the equipment. Maximize the usage of these investments, and then also identify gaps that need to be filled. So we're not going to be buying 3 or 4 of a microscope if there's no demand for that. So recently we decided to start with an expansion microscopy as our first user group. So this is more focused on an advanced application rather than an advanced instrument. And we put a posting up on the Confocal list, and within about a week, we had 70 members from 19 countries. So this has been really exciting. There's a huge interest. And what I'm most interested in is we're trying to start this in my lab, and we don't have a lot of expertise. And what I've been most impressed with is the people who have expertise are really excited to come and tell other people how to do this, and, you know, make a use of their time, you know, when they're already doing it well, but they want to share that information. So that's been really nice. The biggest challenge we have with that is that we have time zones across the globe, as I'm sure many of you know from our Zoom meeting culture now. So what we've done is we've recruited a volunteer in Australia. So we're going to run the meetings the same topic, but once in Australia and once in Canada. And then people can choose which meeting to go to. But we'll keep the topic and the content the same so that we're still feeling like one cohesive group. So right now we have 20 unique instruments and about 12 unique expertise in the database from 15 universities. And we did submit a proposal through the CZI Advancing Imaging Through Collaboration to get some support to really ramp this up. And recently, we also wrote a position paper to the Canada Foundation for Innovation on the importance of open access scientific platforms. And it was really interesting. They're doing their new strategic plan, and they fund all of the research infrastructure in Canada. And when we looked at their 6 pillars of activity, we thought, like, scientific platforms answer almost everything they're trying to address. So we're really hoping they'll see our paper and really respond. So I just wanted to mention a couple of upcoming events. On the left is the Montreal Light Microscopy course. So this will be our first in-person one since the pandemic. It's going to be February 28th to March 3rd. I would invite anybody to come, but if you remember my picture back there, that's what it'll be like that week. So the winter is still very beautiful, but you would have to be prepared. So this is a 3.5-day really intensive introductory course. And we've also talked about if there's people who are running their own facilities or relatively new to running facilities, they might want to come, and we could customize it a bit. So we could tell them a little bit behind the scenes about, you know, how do you plan the hands-on activities and how do you coordinate, you know, so that people get to see all the instruments, but with enough time. And we have this one pretty packaged because we've run it since 2009. So we'd also be willing to share slides and lab books. And so if anybody's interested more in that, like, you know, I'm a microscopist, I don't need basic training, but you're interested in maybe learning how to run a training course like this, I'd be really happy to talk about that sort of aspect. And then the other event I'm super excited about is a culture workshop that we're doing in October. And it's called Understand and Transform Your Work Culture. And we have a professional who's coming in to run the workshop. And we have some professional surveys we do. And one survey is about your own work style and how you work and engage with people. And the other one is about the culture of your work environment. And then the goal is to look at those two, see how well they're matched. And if they're not well matched, are there ways you can improve the culture in your work environment? And this is the first time we're running it, but we're hoping if it goes well, we'll run it across Canada, and maybe could be a future global bioimaging workshop that we can really tailor to the work environment we find ourselves in working in imaging facilities. So we had a few questions we were asked to address. So what's been your most surprising challenge or learnings? And I think every time I travel to one of these meetings, I'm amazed that we all have the same challenges. It doesn't matter what country or what area of the world we're in, the challenges are the same. And so I think that shows the power of these groups to come together and find common solutions. What have you found most helpful from the GBI community? So the best practices and recommendations, including job shadow visits and organizing courses and workshops. So Michelle Aitano and I did a job shadow back before the pandemic, and they had a checklist of kind of things to do before, and we hadn't actually thought about giving a seminar at the university. And then it was like, oh, of course she should give a seminar. And then, you know, that's something she can put on her CV. And then the people at McGill can hear about what's going on at UNC. So that was really helpful having those checklists. And then what help do you need to bring the project forward? So right now we're getting a lot of support from the RMS and BINA, supporting our user group organization and collecting and disseminating information. But I think the main thing we need is human resources to really ramp up and make connections so that researchers can find the microscopes and the expertise that they need for their work. And that's what I have. Thank you.